sell my town. My town.
Hello, welcome back to Connecting Clarkston. This is season 4, episode 3. Today, Katie and I are sitting down with Chris and Carrie Mersino. I bet you've seen their signs around town, MBA Real Estate and Action Mortgage. And so we're going to sit and chat with them and talk about their connection to Clarkston and all things real estate. So welcome, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having us.
How did you get connected to Clarkston? Tell us about that first.
I'm a native of North Oakland County, born and raised with an Oxford address, but Brandon schools, and then moved to Ortonville, stayed in Brandon schools. So always had the connection to Clarkston here, shopping, doctors, everything else. So when we decided to move our business this direction, we said we got to get down by the freeway, the corridor, and where the commerce is. And we said Clarkston's got to be where our home is.
Yeah, okay.
So.
Clarkston has such a great area of community, so it made sense to build a real estate business here. As you know, like with all of the activities, but we have such an active chamber, and it really does feel like an area that is just built on small business. Mm-hmm. So it kind of just felt like the right place to help people find their home.
Yeah. How many years has your business been in this area?
Since July 1st, 2013.
Yep.
Okay. And have you guys both always been in the real estate industry?
I have since '96.
Okay.
So.
My background is marketing, so I handle all of our agents in our office, like marketing, back office support, and like that. So I've always kind of helped him on the back end, and then when we opened this, continued through.
So give us a little elevator pitch on both of your businesses, what they do and what services they provide.
Well, MBA Real Estate is a full-service brokerage without the franchise, which is what we sought out to be, having turned down numerous franchise opportunities. Mergers, roll-ups, however you want to. We were approached. We're going to stay independent. We're involved here. Our roots are here. We're involved in the community here. So that's what we are: is a full-service, local, independent branch brokerage. For Action Mortgage, same thing, full-service brokerage, backed primarily by our friends in Pontiac at UWM. We're service most of our loans, but we're right here in Clarkston at Sashtabah and Mabee Road, have been for a while.
So the Chamber of Commerce came on with us 2 episodes ago, and I was asking Emily, can you explain where the Chamber is located for people that have not been there? And I was saying that building's kind of hard to find. What did you call it? Unassuming. Well, MBA Real Estate is in the medical complex, if I'm describing that right next
at one
to
time it was, sure.
McDonald's, right? Is that where you guys are located? Because I work dental hygiene in my normal life, and I work for Gary Fitney, who's just 2 doors over. So that building that's on Sashtabah, right before you get to McDonald's, across from Kroger, is where you guys are located.
Yep. Yes.
Okay.
Yep. And so you guys obviously are married. How is this balancing the family and the business? How's that handled?
It takes some practice. The nice part about it is I feel like it does create a good balance because we can offset each other's schedules. If he has more scheduled and more on his plate at the office, I can pick up more slack on the other side, and same kind of thing. Primarily, Yeah.
And as flexible as you want to be for clientele and our staff alike, you do have to set parameters. There's got to be sometimes a shutdown time, and it's Sunday, it's 5 o'clock. I don't need to know where my phone is every minute. It's a juggling act.
Keeping family talk out of the office and office talk out of the family, as best as you can. Sometimes it crosses, but you try.
Yeah. Do you think kids will eventually be in the same industry?
That was quick. Nobody has shown interest in that yet, so we'll see.
That's funny. It's always interesting. We have the flyer you guys brought, and I think we all like to house hunt, as a little pastime. I don't know who doesn't. But what are some trends you're seeing locally that we should keep our eye on in Clarkston?
Our inventory is finally starting to pick up a little bit. I track on a daily basis I have so many different parameters set up for Southeast Michigan, the county, the multiple zip codes that are Clarkston. We've had our numbers ticking up for new listings almost every day for the last 60 to 90 days. And Monday was a big surprise. As I said at our staff meeting yesterday, it was one of the biggest intros to the market for new listings on a Monday in quite some time. And I'm years.
Wow.
Wow.
So we're starting to see prices stabilize a little bit where they were skyrocketing, as we recall, for a while there. They're correcting, which is not a bad thing for the market, but prices are, I hate using the word flatlining, but they're leveling off.
Yeah. So what would cause that? Because it seems like spring is normally the time when you see houses come on the market. Is fall, is that atypical?
No, not really. We've had some very good fourth quarters in the last 10, 12 years. I also think that with the advancement of technology over everything going virtual and whatnot, work, jobs, et cetera, clients are much more accessible to do things during the days than they used to be. They move, the calendar's not as important to them. It's not as much of a deciding factor as it used to be.
I feel like spring seems like such a hot time, but then I also would imagine fall, like kind of, if people are thinking about it, want to get moving before the holidays.
Right.
You know, I
Sure.
would imagine maybe things slow down a bit over the holidays.
We see an annual slowdown late June, early July because of vacation times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And some people want their kids back into school, back into a routine, frees up the schedule a little bit in some ways to be able to get out and, do that kind of thing. It, just depends on the dynamic of the family, but
Yeah.
What are people saying, like trends-wise, as far as in-houses? Like, where do you spend your money if you're about to sell your house? What are the things you're supposed to do? Do the kitchen, do the bathrooms? Like, I feel like that can change over time. I don't know, what's your observation?
It's a magic question. It depends on condition and the investment that you're going to put into it. I once had a friend say, should I go ahead with this kitchen project? And I saw his estimate was close to $80,000. And I said, no, you're not going to realize $80,000 on your sell price back in doing that. I said, hit the carpet, hit the paint. Some investments you get a great return on are new roofs, mechanicals, et cetera.
You do get good
Yeah,
ROI on those, really?
On a roof, yes. Absolutely.
It's so boring.
On multiple
Okay,
ways,
fine.
yeah. I know. Right, that's not the fun thing to do.
it's usually the boring things though, because that's what people don't want to go and spend money on, right? Like you
Yes.
don't want to buy a house that needs a roof or needs a new furnace, but you'd be more inclined to get new flooring or new cabinets. So it is kind of easier to sell it that way with, that punch list
You're
of
almost,
look at all this.
You're almost forced to think like an inspector, an appraiser, and an insurance agent all in one. What's going to add the most value and security to this house?
Yeah.
It's not always the pretty thing.
Right. It does make sense, though,
Yeah.
because I don't want to buy a new house and put new windows in.
Right.
Like, oh,
Yeah.
like,
But it's important to keep it, fresh looking. Like new paint does go a long way. Cleaned up landscaping, some fresh flowers, stuff like that does help in showing it. But, the other stuff is big.
I've also, just because we recently moved, but I think even just a deep clean on the house, I think
Absolutely.
probably having a very clean house goes further than most things.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it makes people, a clean house, when you walk into that on a showing, you automatically think it's been well maintained.
Yeah.
If you walk into a showing and it isn't the cleanest that, or as clean as you would expect, you instantly, your mind is like, okay, well, what hasn't been taken care of? Like if this is your best foot forward for me to come in here,
Yes.
you kind of are like, if they couldn't clean, then what else is going on?
I agree with
I
that.
imagine you have some wild stories about how the condition of houses. You want to share one? Do you want to share one?
Can you give any addresses?
We won't name names, but I'm sure you walked in and been like,
Some I
what
want
in
to
the world?
forget.
Yeah.
I don't want to share them.
I'm picturing I always think of animals. Like people aren't aware of how, let's say, their cat litter.
They're nose blind.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
maybe.
That's
yeah.
true, yeah.
Is it true? Like baked cookies, and that's the big, that's gonna sell it. Do you guys?
It's worth a
Couldn't
shot.
hurt.
I don't think it helps.
I don't think it helps. Are there new developments in and around Clarkston that people should keep their eye on? Like, what's the latest in that category?
New developments as a specific community, not really. You have the new development there at Walden and Sashabaw, which was a shot in the arm.
Yeah.
But rather than just say a specific development or community, I think what Clarkston wants to see, what the average consumer person wants to see is we greatly need a increase in new construction here. We are at many year low of permits being issued for new construction. We're seeing a lot more additions, finishing basements than people, rather than moving. We need to see more startups in North Oakland County in general, in the state of Michigan in general, because what will follow that is more first-time home buyers as well. And the market, to stay level and to stay correct, does need younger first-time home buyers. They create second homes,
Right.
you know. So we definitely need to see that more development, and not just one in community, but even private building. You know, not necessarily spec homes, but custom homes as well. We need to see both.
I feel like we had I guess on maybe it was last year when we talked about the numbers in Clarkston and in Independence Township and how it skews older. Currently, I mean, that's probably going to change, but
Was it when the senior center was on with us and we were talking about, yes, okay.
And this, I forget the stat, but it's a pretty good percentage.
Right now, we service, if we look at the 50 plus demographic, that's almost 40% of Independence Township right now.
Wow.
So, you know, the population trend for the aging demographic is really on the rise.
And so I'm curious if we'll see a trend of more senior living and that kind of development pop up.
Yeah, I
to
think that's going to
accommodate that.
extend far beyond Clarkston.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's,
When you were talking about first-time home buyers, it does seem like with the prices going up and then interest rates being higher, it feels like a even bigger challenge for first-time home buyers to enter the market. Are you seeing any trends in interest rates coming down? Do you have a crystal ball? Tell us what's going to happen.
we did see the one
great.
yesterday. The feds did cut the rate yesterday. It was just a quarter, but it's a start. I was really hoping for a full half, if there's such a thing.
And today that we're filming is Thursday, September 18th. I'm just going to say that because by the time this comes out,
It might be
yesterday
That
will
could
not have
change.
been yesterday. But yeah, so we
Can we go back and redub this?
So that quarter percentage decrease just happened.
Yes.
And then I thought I was hearing there's potential for 2 more. How often do they meet to make those?
It's monthly or as necessary.
Okay.
I do have an in-house bet for $1 with one of my lending directors. They're going to cut it twice more before the end of the calendar year.
Okay.
So that would be my crystal ball. Is one more cut of a quarter, the third one, bit of a wild card maybe.
Okay. So another question I had is with refinancing. You know, I think a lot of people locked in at these high rates just because the timing was right, the house was right, with the hope that they can refinance in the future. How often can you refinance? Like, are there any restrictions on like how soon and how often?
Yeah,
There are.
It depends on what
okay.
kind of mortgage you take out. Most cases, if you go in and take out a standard conventional mortgage, let's say you're 20% downer and you're at 7.5%, rates go down to 6%, you want to refi. Your primary mortgage, your initial mortgage, probably said this is a minimum of 6 months.
Okay.
So you got to give it time to record. You got to give it time for the actual lending, the lending institution to make money off that interest that they intended to. They do have prepayment penalties. And so if you pay off a mortgage in full within that 6 months from origination, you could be facing a penalty.
Okay.
So if you're going to refinance with the same institution, there might be some leeway there. But for the most part, the general rule of thumb is you want 6 payments on your first mortgage before you start refining.
Okay. So because we just moved and I am a fan of social media, TikTok has figured out that I'm interested in the housing market. And so I get all of these videos bombarding me with information on mortgages and home buying. I totally just lost my train of thought of where I was going with this. Hold on, it's gonna come back.
While you're thinking
Yes,
about that,
thank
sorry,
you. It'll come back to me.
Do you guys service mostly newer home, like first-time home buyers, second-time, or is it everything? Like, is there a trend that your agency sees more of in this area? Like, how does that look for you guys?
All primary residential or residential, put it that way, whether it's primary residence, secondary vacation residence. We've done both in the last month. First-time home buyer, second, seasoned, doesn't really matter. We don't do commercial loans or vacant land loans.
Okay.
But just about any kind of residential loan up to four units.
And how wide is your area that you work in?
The state of Michigan.
The whole state? Oh, you got properties like up in the UP as well?
Yep.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's fantastic.
I remember
Did you
my
remember
question.
your question? I was like, oh, I knew you would. I knew you would.
So TikTok has been telling me that when you're ready to buy a house, that we've been doing it wrong all these years, that you should be going to your mortgage lender first, talking to them, getting pre-qualified. Where I feel like, I don't know how you've done it in the past. I don't buy a lot of homes, but I think a lot of times you like reach out to your real estate agent first. And I guess it's interesting since you guys have both sides of it, which is probably not the norm. What do you recommend? Like, do you usually like people to start
Good question.
seeking out the mortgage info first?
Well, while we always welcome the contact,
yeah.
every agent that knows what they're doing is going to say, I need you to talk to a lender, or I need to talk to your lender, or come in and talk to my lender.
Okay.
Because we need to know what you can do.
Yeah.
We've had buyers come in and say, yeah, we're comfortable with the payment up to a $400,000 purchase. Then you talk to the lender and they're like, whoa, no. Looking at these ratios, they can maybe go up to 320, for example. So yes, always a good idea to talk to the lenders first. And like you mentioned, you said what, TikTok, I think you said?
Yes.
Even with things that are supposedly in our market, like the Zillows and Trulias, yes, they have really given people that instant gratification need where they call, I want to go see this house. Are you even qualified to go see this house? So that's where a lender comes in and vets them. And you'd be shocked at how many times you say, have you talked to a lender? They don't want to see that house again.
Okay.
So.
Well, and if you start looking at $400,000 houses and then find out that you can buy $300,000 houses, I mean,
Yeah.
you're going to be disappointed. Like, right? Like, it's just, that's the reality of it. And then in some cases, you have to have a pre-approval to see some listings. So it's just smart to know what you can afford.
I think that's level set your expectations.
Yeah.
Like maybe not the $10 million house.
Another thing TikTok has been telling me is a lot of Zillow bashing. Like there seems to be this huge pushback on Zillow and changes that they have made. We don't have to talk about that, but if you want to, you could share insight. Is that like
I'm not going to sit here and argue with them.
Yes.
No, it is frustrating when you're working with the buyer, or worse, a seller.
Okay.
Well, Zillow says my house is worth this much.
Oh, right.
They say, no, it's not.
Yeah.
They use an algorithm that's just not appropriate. There's no human factor in it. It's all computer driven, and it's just simply not accurate. When you actually look into their algorithm, you can Google it, what it is. They include far too many factors that are they don't lend itself to the proper price point that the house should be.
Okay. Yeah, that seems to be what everybody on TikTok says too.
Are you saying TikTok's not 100% amazing?
Well, breaking news.
Yeah, this is breaking. You heard it here first.
Believe everything on
Yes.
TikTok.
Oh my gosh. This might be a tiny bit of a hot button question, hot seat, I mean, but there's a lot of real estate agencies in the area. Like what sets you guys apart? Why should we come and work with you guys? Hot seat.
Yeah. No, I think, at the end of the day, it comes down to service, what we can provide. There's a lot of independent offices out there. There's some franchise offices I've run across that simply don't ascribe to offering the services that you should. We have in-house title, in-house lending, in-house builder. We have instant references to home improvement contractors. So it is the full service, okay? And then it's also just the atmosphere in the office is, I hate using the term one team. We're not a team. Realtors are by trade an independent contractor, but the dynamic in the office is incredible with how the people work together, the collaborations together. Everybody's very open, and I think that does trickle down to the end user, the consumer. And most consumers don't know what title is. They don't even know what a title company is. But I can guarantee from my end, we see transactions go much more smoothly because we have somebody in our office dedicated to just MBA real estate files.
Okay.
And that efficiency does get passed down. And again, the consumer probably doesn't know. I do, and that's important to me.
Yeah.
And as the community, our agents live in the communities they serve, so they know the communities. They care about the communities, and they can guide home buyers honestly through the process. They're not there to just get them, get the sale done. They're there, they care about it. They're gonna be able to give you information about the schools, the businesses, the surroundings, what goes on in that area to help you figure out if that's the right fit.
Yeah, no, that's really important. How many people do you guys employ? Speaking
We're right
of,
around 20 right now.
Oh, nice. Okay. When I was thinking too, if I'm a real estate agent and I live here and I sell houses in the place I live, I'm looking at the people. I'm like, do we want to be neighbors? Yeah. In my head, I'm like, that must be interesting.
Fair housing.
What did you just say?
Fair housing.
Fair housing, yes. I was thinking, yes.
You're saying, don't say that. Like, that's not cool.
So you did give us a copy of this 10 tasks to tackle for fall. And so I know maybe a couple times a year, I feel like you come out with different guides of
Yes.
just helpful tips that aren't necessarily related to real estate, but always related to homes.
Yes.
That I think are super helpful and always a lot of good information in there.
Just to help, sometimes not all homeowners come into it with the same type of knowledge. We like to provide a value to the community.
Yeah.
Staying on top of home care and maintenance obviously benefits you as a homeowner because you will hopefully identify problems before they become big problems. But also, if you're doing these little things consistently, at some point, whether it's next year or 5 years or whatever, you will probably sell at some point. And if you've maintained consistently throughout, it just saves you so much headache. So it's stuff that, we get asked a lot, and it kind of helps our agents also to be able to pass that out to people. I post it on social media, free downloads for people. And it just kind of provides that like a little bit of value to know what to do and when's the best time for it.
Yeah. Well, that's great
I
advice.
did not know that I'm supposed to change the direction of my ceiling fans.
Oh, to keep the heat down.
Yes.
There we
Have you
go.
been doing that?
I've heard of it. I don't always do it because I feel like, how do I get up there? But I think it sounds like a great idea.
All right, I'm going to start doing this.
Where can people find information all about your businesses?
We are all over social media, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. We have a website. So should I say the website?
Yeah.
Okay. MBA-RES.com and then actionmortgagemi.com. Again, on there, besides being able to see listings by community, by whatever, however you want to search it out, there's tons of tips and tools and tricks on there in certain sections as well. There's the Action Mortgage website is awesome. It has about 12 different calculators that you can use for various things and figuring out, taxes or equity, any of those different kinds of things. I mean, rough overview, obviously. And then you can request a quote on that. And the MBA website, you can also go on and request a home value. So there's lots of tips and tricks all throughout all of those too.
Very good. And aside from all of these tasks and tips and tricks, is there something like if someone wanted to sell their house, hey, I need to sell my house in the next 6 months. What's the biggest thing? Like, what's the tip you tell them right now to do?
Declutter.
Declutter. That's true for everybody, I suppose.
Yeah, step one, he'll give you something different.
Yeah,
but
okay.
from me, I'm going to tell you declutter and declutter and then declutter again. And,
Okay.
Anything visual, but I'll let him take
That's
it from
the same
there.
thing. Same thing.
Is it true to take personal pictures down? I've heard this before too, so people can imagine themselves living there.
Minimize it.
Minimize it. Okay.
I have a mortgage question. Say somebody's looking to get a mortgage. They're also looking to make a big purchase. Can you make the big purchase before you get the mortgage? Do you hold off on the big purchase, get the mortgage?
Anybody that comes to me and says that they're going to be buying a home in the next 12 months, I say you need to do one thing: save. Just save.
Okay.
We had one young man, he's a single man, he had 3 cars. And he says, my ratios are bad. I said, your credit's not bad. Your ratios are bad. Get rid of one of the cars. So it hurts. I don't want to sound preachy to people, but you just got to really prioritize.
Okay.
If you're serious about buying and building equity in a home, save, save, save. And put the big purchases off if they're not necessary.
Okay.
Just avoid using credit cards, avoid racking up debt wherever you can. Every penny counts in the purchase process.
All right.
Okay, you heard it here. Change your ceiling fans and save your money. Well, thank you to both of you for sitting down and chatting with
course.
us.
Thank you for having us.
Continued success here in Clarkston.
Thank you.
This podcast is brought to you by Independence Television, located inside Clarkston High School. The views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of Independence Television, Independence Township, or Clarkston Community Schools.